weeks when the oil field crashed and the drilling rig stopped drilling for oil in the Gulf of Mexico, and I lost my job. I couldn't find a job, and I was a first-class machinist, and there was no jobs. I went and worked in a restaurant as a line order cook, cooking at night at a golf course. I'd do anything to money. And so what happened was, because of the economy, the depressed state of the economy, and couldn't find jobs, and then you turn to alcohol. Alcohol's cheap. You can go buy rot gut wine. I mean, you can go get, you know, Coke 44. You can go get Tickle Pink wine. Alcohol is fairly cheap. You can buy alcohol on unemployment money. I know, I've done it. There are some folks can drink alcohol and can have maybe 1 or 2 drinks with the guys, or maybe have a barbecue and sit down and have a beer, or maybe cut the grass and come out and drink one of beer, you know, hot and sweaty, and drink a beer. It wasn't that way with me. When I drank till there was nothing left. I didn't drink every single day. I was what they call a binge drinking alcoholic. Some alcoholics drink every single day. But the type of business I was in, the work I was in, I couldn't drink every day. But pretty much on the weekends, if there wasn't a job going on or something, pretty much I drank quite a bit up until 27 years old. It was on one of these benders. I'd been out with some of my customers, because I went from the machine shops into sales and as a representative for a major machine shop and calling on major petrochemical plants and paper mills, and I'd go out drinking with the customers. And so one night when I was drinking, I had been watching Billy Graham a couple of weeks before, and he had been on a type of crusade. And I knew what he was talking about. I'd never experienced this whole thing about being born again and having a personal relationship with Jesus. And in my heart, I felt like that if I was to die, I was going to go to hell, because I didn't have Jesus in my heart. So that very next morning, I woke up my wife and I said, "We're going to church." Her first question was, "Is it a wedding? Did someone die? Is there a funeral?" Because we hadn't been in church in years. And she said, "Where are you going? Where are we going?" I said, "Well, at this church, at this Baptist church, there's a revival meeting going on." And I know in the Baptist church, at the end of a message, like on television with Billy Graham, they have what's called an altar call. And I told my wife, I said, "I have to do that." And so when they had the altar call, they tell me, I don't remember, they said I ran to the altar, and the pastor of the church said, "Yes, my son, what can I do for you?" And I said, "I'm here to be saved." And I'll never forget what he said. He says, "Well, you came to the right place." After praying to receive Christ and being the type of job I had, being in the plant, a man's man, you know, machinists and welders and that type of environment, first thing people notice is I didn't curse like I used to. Cussing kind of went out first. Then God took alcohol from me. I stopped drinking. I went from a lost sinner to a lay preacher to an evangelist, eventually a seminary student, and now a senior pastor of a church. I always say God's got a sense of humor. I always said he can hit straight licks with crooked sticks. So I figured if he could use someone like me, he could use anybody. But my life totally changed after Christ came into my heart.